a can that's been kicked down the road, and 3 different people used that term tonight. In 2013, Dr. Jones convened a meeting of the Board of Education and all the school administrators to talk about 2 problems: the lack of a middle school curriculum and the enrollment crisis that meant kids were not going to fit in Pierpont School 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they would not fit. So the discussion was held then, it was talked about, the middle school curriculum committee was found, gave a report to the board, but at that time the feeling was, where are we going to build a middle school? We can't solve this problem, and the can was kicked down the road. When I became superintendent, one of the first things we did was we took a look at, when I say we, I mean me, Mr. Kelly, working with the board, we took a look at reconvening the middle school curriculum committee. It was a 2-pronged problem. One was our curriculum didn't have the richness of electives, the richness of programs. There was no robotics in Union School. There weren't any theater or art in, I'm sorry, there was art, but theater and digital literacy and STEM in Pierpont School. Those electives did not exist. So we had a committee look at that, but then how do we create a middle school? So we looked at modular buildings. We looked at the idea of leasing with the intent to buy modular buildings to put into Union School to create a middle school there, but realized that that would be an expensive fix that would look like a short-term fix, but would be intended to be a long-term fix, if you're following this, right? And would not solve some of the problems that Union School would have with gym space and things of that nature, and would not solve the problems at Pierpont. So we came up with a plan to how can we solve 2 problems. One was a good fix. The middle school that was developed at Union School brought us a very rich elective program, okay? Brought us co-curriculars, brought us all kinds of academic achievement for those kids in terms of preparation for high school. It's created a trickle-up effect where the high school now is changing their electives because the kids in the middle school are getting the electives that used to be taught at the high school level. It also solved a Band-Aid on enrollment because by running the self-contained grades 4, 5, 6 in Pierpont and not the hybrid schedule of rotating. I know, and this gets, if you haven't done a schedule, if you don't know, it's hard to explain it simply, but as kids rotate, it's, you lose that ability to have 26 bodies that are sitting in one classroom, and that's where they are all day. So if we didn't create the reorganization, which was done for curriculum benefits, there would have been a 3rd grade and this year a 4th grade class that would have have to stay behind the Lincoln School because there would not have been enough room for them in Pierpont. I'm sorry, a 4th grade and 5th grade class. Okay, that bubble year. Now, granted, Pierpont classes are large, but they all fit in the age-appropriate building. But like I said, with enrollment, that's a Band-Aid. That kicked the can further down the road. But now with the numbers get to be 29 or 30 that's projected in a couple of years, Pierpont and those old classrooms can't maintain that. So this is about space, okay? I know if you are advocating for the pool, or you're advocating for the field, or you're advocating for whatever it is you're advocating for, it's about what you're advocating for. And I get that. But it's about space. And then the money it costs to create that space. And the only other point I'll make, I was very pleased, that it's true. We've had this year not only Wayne, which I don't think you identified the district per se, because I just did, so I hope it doesn't get you in trouble with your boss. They don't watch this on TV anyway. But Wayne has visited Union School for a couple of elective programs. We've had Garfield come in to visit some of our classes. We've had Wallington come and spend the entire day in all of our buildings to see how we put out our one-to-one program for computers effectively, because they're doing it over in their district. Our curriculum is a model, okay? But that Z-Space lab that they're going to come see tomorrow, which is fabulous, what I'm thinking about is they're going to see the highest level probably computers that we have in the district in our library, which can no longer be used as a library in Union School, at least traditional library, because there was no place else to put that lab. And there's no room for a student or teacher to navigate that room because of the computers are up on what used to be research tables, and that's what it's being used for. And the other part of the science program is Union is across the other side of the library, which is our makerspace lab. So when kids come in for a traditional library, they got to work around the STEM lab. So whereas I'm proud they're seeing the rich curriculum, and they're going to say, what ingenuity to make this work. We don't really have a middle school library. We don't really have a middle school STEM lab. We have a library that serves as a STEM lab. And with more kids coming, and with more technology coming, and more need coming, that's something that we have to address. So, I just wanted to comment on those things. I don't want to get into a point by point. I took notes, and the board takes notes, and we continue to address and meet and discuss these things. I'll say one more thing. And someone mentioned, that I spoke from my heart, and I think, yes, I do, because this place. Iggy, as I used to, was a teacher back. I mean, he's aged better than I've aged, but he looks like he could be my age at this point, and I was his teacher. I've been here forever, okay? So I won't say what I do, the hours I put in, the work I've done on this project, which has been all-consuming for about 2 years. I will say that these folks here who are volunteers, who have full-time jobs, some of them higher level and more demands than I face every day, they put in a heck of a lot of time here too. And I don't think it's fair for anybody to think that anybody's not listening, that anybody's not taking this under consideration, that we're not spending countless hours reviewing every reasonable suggestion we get, even if we think, how can we really do that? How can we really put that forward economically? Even if it's something that's so far out there, these group of people have put in the time. It's my job to put in the time, okay? I'm not, if you think I'm not, okay, that's okay, all right? But I don't want anybody to think that these folks are taking this lightly. They're taking on a responsibility that other boards in past years decided to use that term, kick it down the can. So I think, regardless of how this comes out, they deserve a lot of credit. And I think the community deserves a lot of credit because people are paying attention. We are not at the point yet where we're going to, there's a very, very strong, powerful study out of St. Louis University that talks about the cost-benefit analysis of building improvements to a community in terms of real estate values. That's going to come out. We're not running a referendum yet. We haven't made a decision yet. So this is fact-finding and fact-sharing. This is not campaigning. So some of the things that people want to hear, and that I think the board wants, and we all want to hear and share, will come if and when the board decides to go forward with a referendum. And ultimately, the decision will be the community's. It won't be the board. It won't be mine. So anyway, those are my comments.